The following program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Viewer discretion is advised.
More people and more crime is committed and more people are killed with hammers every year than guns. Look at the facts.
I will look that up. I don't think that's true, actually.
That is true.
In the United States, though?
Yes, sir. That is true. Look it up. It's on. You can Google it. It's true. It's actually true.
So, the number of murder victims and the weapons used. Okay, number one, handguns, 8,029. Number two, firearms, type not stated, 4,863. Number three, knives or cutting instruments, personal weapons, fists, feet. Then rifles at 455. Then blunt objects, clubs, hammers, 393. The 300, the hammers, that stat is just wrong.
Back to your question. Second Amendment is still my right, and it's still important to me.
Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Down at Sewell Park today. Very nice day, very nice day. Didn't start off like that, but as the day went on, it got better. And it's beautiful out today right now. And coming down here right now is the best time because, you know, we've got a bit of a breeze going here. It keeps the mosquitoes away. So when you come down here like this, you know, you don't have to worry about getting eaten alive. Goddamn bugs, you know. So yeah, Sewell Park. You know, and I noticed the thing about Sewell Park is that when you look off into the distance, okay, when you look at the other side, let me show it, see if I can illustrate this here better. Okay, when you look off into the distance of across the pond here or the lake, whatever, it seems like it's quite a ways away, right? But I've gone all through this area with a boat here myself, and I'll tell you, it's not as far as you think it is, because what it is on the other side of this pond here, the trees are actually shorter than normal, okay, especially out that way on that side. Okay, they're very small. The trees, they get bigger as you go this way, okay, but also this pond narrows as you go this way too. But over on that side, it looks like it's a huge distance away, and it's just an optical illusion because it isn't that far away, no further than it is over there, you know, over here. So what you got is very short trees over there, and so it makes the distance look further away than it really is, okay? There's also a little, like right about over here, there's a little area that it's just wide enough for a boat to go through, and I'm talking like a canoe, where if you follow the little path on the water, it'll take you out to the main lake, Pushaw Lake, okay, which you know, is connected by this one little stream that goes up that way, which you can go through in a small boat. I went through it, but you know, the thing of it is if you got a boat that has a propeller, you're better to leave the propeller off, because there's like these big, long plants that they're in the water, and they could get tangled up in the prop. So you have to use a paddle, essentially, to get down in there. In Florida, they would have what you call one of those boats that has a big fan on it. That would get you through there quick, but we don't have those up here because we don't have swamps like that in Florida. But but in Maine, you know, we just have regular ponds and stuff like that. We do have some swampy areas, but we don't use those kind of boats around here. So yeah, you have to paddle your way through it, you know, to get to the main lake here, which is much bigger than this pond here. So, but I do like coming out here during the summer, because like I said, it's very calm when there's not a lot of people down here. I didn't bother coming down here on the 4th because I knew there'd be a lot of people here, and as I can see from all the debris left behind, you know, the cigarette butts and everything, there was a lot of people down here, and so I was right not to come. But right now it's a Wednesday, and there's only a few people on the one of the landings here that are here with their kids, and it's relatively quiet because there's not many people here. So it's pretty good, you know. It's really a nice time to be down here. So, hey, look, there's a mosquito. Yeah. Why you damn thing. Okay. So a lot of shit, right? You know, after the 4th of July, after the shooting there, people are talking all about what can be done about this. And you know, the funny thing is, oh, there's a little chipmunk. The funny thing is that the Republicans, you know, whenever there's a shooting, they like to blame these shootings happening because of a whole plethora of things. And right now, the excuse they're using is, oh, drugs. He was on some kind of Prozac or something like that, and that's what did it. That's what made him shoot. Okay, wow, well, that chipmunk can carry quite a load there. You found something. You know, that's what they're saying for an excuse. Okay, which they've used before, but it's already been debunked because doctors and stuff have already come out and said that there is actually zero evidence to show that Prozac would cause anybody to do these kind of things. That's just some, you know, old wives' tale or some goddamn thing, whatever you want to call it. But there is no proof of that does anything. And if you think about it, it would stand to reason, because a lot of people in America, I would say more than 75% of Americans are on some kind of medication, psychotropic drug. I mean, I'm on them. Okay, I take these kind of medications every day for depression and stuff like that. I take them. A lot of people I know take them. A lot of veterans take these things, and you don't see the numbers to match the amount of people that are taking these drugs going out killing people. Okay, the people that are doing these things a lot of times are kids or people who were left out of the system and not getting help with their emotional problems. Okay, and so for these people to say that the medication that they're taking is causing it doesn't add up with the facts. You know, even if you don't know anything about medicine or anything like that, you still have to wonder, well, if that's true, then why aren't there more people doing these mass killings every day instead of just, you know, 1 or 2 a week? Okay, because everybody would be out there blowing people away if that was true, because like I said, more than 75% of Americans are on something, you know, to keep their nerves in check. Okay, people are burnt out all over this country, you know, over their lifestyle and the work they got to do, the pressures at home, raising a kid. You know, a lot of people when they were younger in school were diagnosed with some kind of problem, and since then they've been taking medicine. Okay, and the times you have to worry about those folks doing anything stupid is when they skip meds, when they don't take their medication when they're supposed to. and they skip it, and then they all of a sudden weeks go by and they're not taking their med. That's when problems happen, because the withdrawal from the medicines you've been taking can really screw your head up. I know that's happened to me a couple of times, not because I was skipping, but because they were late giving me my medication, and I went 1 week without my medicine, and I'll tell you, by the end of that week, I was like, I felt like I was drunk. Like, you know what, my head was dizzy a lot, you know, and I stayed right the hell away from the road. I didn't drive. You know, I called for help for people to bring me food if I needed it and stuff, but I didn't trust myself to be behind the wheel of this truck in the state of mind I was in, because I was going through withdrawal. But as soon as I got the medication, it took 2 days to put me right again after that. Okay, so that's when you have to worry about somebody not doing something stupid, is when they're not taking their medication when they're supposed to. And I think in a lot of times, a lot of these people, and I can't remember every single, I mean, who the hell can remember every goddamn shooting? But I think some of these shootings that happen because somebody either should have been on medication or they weren't taking their medication, and these things happen, okay? Especially when it comes to kids, because, you know, kids, their body chemistry is so young and everything that it can be influenced easily through psychotropic drugs. And usually, if a person's going to have a mental problem in their life, it's going to manifest itself in their teens, okay? It will. Which kind of begs the question, well, is there something going on in our country where all of our teens are getting this way? Maybe there is. Maybe there's something existential here happening to cause our kids, when they're teens, to start manifesting these emotional problems. You know, what if it's related to diet, or they're taking some kind of, you know, snorting up some cocaine or something. You know what I'm saying? What if there's something existential? You know, because a lot of people grow up in their teens and they never manifest these problems, but some people do. And so maybe we ought to be, you know, looking at that, what's causing, because like I said, as a kid's growing up, their body chemistry is very sensitive to change. You know, if they eating something different or something like that, you know, they always, you know, people don't eat healthy most of the time, especially kids. They're always reaching for candy bars and sweets and shit. And diabetes can set in really quick, you know, in a kid. Oh, 2 chipmunks.
Hey, get over here.
They're chasing each other. That's what I like about around here, the little animals. And so yeah, you have this problem. And I think, like I said, you know, kids will manifest these physical and psychological ailments largely because they're not eating right sometimes, you know. And I think, you know, I knew a lot of kids when I was in school, when I was in my teens, that, you know, had obesity and diabetes and stuff, but they were constantly eating junk food all the time. I mean, donuts and whole bags of chips and stuff like that when they were just, you know, 15 and 16 years old. And that's what the parents would send him home, send him to school with for lunch. And I'm thinking, why do, you know, and so do I think it, you know, it's the only, no, I don't think it's the only reason, but I think every person is different. You know, some people are more susceptible to a bad diet than others. Some people can eat like that and never gain a pound. I know some people that were kids that were like that, you know, thin as a rail, could eat junk all day long, never gaining a pound. Okay, but then there's other kids that, you know, they can't touch a donut. If they eat it, it's like they can't burn that off, you know. And so, yeah, I think in some cases it is a part of the problem, and in some cases not. But when we're talking about guns here, I think we have to look at that from different angles, you know. And the only way we're really going to learn is if we go to the if the person survives, okay, you know, a gun killing, if the cops don't kill him first, is we need to sit down and analyze this person's lifestyle, life habits. Where, you know, what kind of home life did he have? What did he like to eat? Was he on any medication? Was he not taking his medication? Was he doing drugs? You know what I'm saying? You got to factor in all these different things and see if there's some sort of commonality amongst all these people that do these shootings or something, and maybe that might lead us into a direction here that might lead to, you know, stopping the root of this problem, you know. And I'm not trying to be like the Republicans by blaming, you know, oh, let's blame video games or blaming movies or blaming people not going to church. You know, I'm not going to go that way. Okay, I'm not going to go that way because that's speculative. Okay, there's really no evidence that really backs up any of those claims. But Republicans love to throw that out there to mystify, to throw confusion into the thought processes of Americans. They like to dish that out because they're trying to protect people's what they think is their right to own guns. They don't want anybody to think that it's the gun that's the common denominator in all of these shootings. Okay, that if you didn't have the gun in any of these shootings, these people would not be dead today. Okay, and giving kids weapons like that, especially after what I just told you about how kids can be susceptible to things, giving these same kids guns is not the smartest thing to do by a long shot, okay? They must be supervised. They must be watched at all times if they're carrying anything like that, okay? And they can't be just giving these things out in gun shows for a couple $1,000s, because apparently they're still able to get that no matter what kind of a price tag you put on it. Okay, either they're being bought by someone for someone. Okay, maybe their own father got them that damn gun. But as we find out with this particular kid here that did this thing on the 4th of July, there were all kinds of signs that said that this kid was not all together. Okay, they've been finding all kinds of things. Now, they talked to this kid's uncle, and his uncle was saying, oh, there was never any sign. He was fine. There was nothing. Kid was normal, okay? Obviously, he's trying to dodge a perceived bullet that might be heading his way, okay? What I mean by that, by saying he's trying to avoid responsibility for not being more watchful of this kid. But as the police have been going around his home and looking at stuff and everything, they've been finding all kinds of red flags everywhere that's almost impossible not to notice if you were around this kid at all. So apparently this kid had problems, okay, emotional problems, and nobody gave two shits about it, okay? Sometimes a person can hide their mental problem, but when they're outside of painting on the house, a silhouette of a guy holding a gun, a life-size silhouette on the side of the house, and he's holding a rifle, I mean, and then he puts a smiley face, that's not normal. Okay, I've never heard of anybody doing something like that to their own house, you know, and this is what they found. Okay, and then they found stuff inside the house, you know, things he was looking at online and stuff like that. Okay, and you know, his what do they call it, social media stuff. Okay, they found things in there. So, you know, and then of course there's other people that said they knew him and they knew he was a little weird. There was all kinds of signs, okay, to suggest that this is not the guy you give an AR-15 to. Okay, he shouldn't have had it to begin with. And so his guardians really dropped the ball on this kid big time, okay? And it makes me think about that other case that happened where these parents had bought their kid for Christmas a pistol, and the kid was 14 or 15 years old, and he was drawing these weird, nasty pictures in school. And the teacher had taken the pictures and brought it, and you know, wanted the parents to see that. Hey, look what he's drawing, and the parents thought nothing of it. Okay. And he was bringing that gun to school. Okay, he got it, and he was taking it with him to school. And when they called up his parents about that, you know, they were kind of minimizing, you know, the severity. And then they texted him on his phone from work saying, you need to do better at not getting caught, or words to that effect, okay? And, you know, it's like, you know, they knew they bought him a gun, but then when the possibility arose that he was responsible for killing all those people in the school, it's like they got together, they took off and ran. They left the kid behind, and the parents took off and ran. Remember, I mean, they were having a APB on trying to find this couple here. They were hiding with somebody in somebody's house, and I don't know whatever happened, but they knew they were responsible. They should have never gave the kid a gun for Christmas, but they did. And the kid went to school, and eventually he used it after the teachers had tried to warn the parents that he was not stable. He finally used it and shot some kids and stuff like that. And I can't remember the kid's name, but this happened like last year. And so we all sit at home and we say, how stupid can anybody get? You know? And apparently stupidity is not, you know, exclusive to certain people. There's a lot of it to go around. Because again, we had 4th of July here a couple of days ago, and here we had another situation where it should have been obvious to the guardians that they gave two shits about the kid, that he was dealing with something that wasn't right, and they never should have let him have an AR-15. How he got it, we don't know. Okay, whether the parents gave it to him, or he got it from a friend, or he stole it, we don't know how he got his hands on that. Okay, but apparently it's not too hard to get access to a gun like that, and you know, and if you try to steal it, then apparently it was too easy to steal out of wherever he got it, you know. But if he bought it off the black market or something like that, or somebody must have gave it to him. I'm thinking it's his own. I think his parents is what it has to boil down to, because like I said, a machine gun like that is it's gonna hit you over $2,500 or more in value. Okay, there's really no cheap way to get your hands on a gun like that unless it's given to you. Okay, but anything like that, it's going to be a lot of money. So either the kid had the money, which people are saying is not possible. I mean, because I don't think he had a job, for one thing. But there's no way he could have saved up money like that and got, because he was underage, for one thing. He couldn't. How the hell could he got his hands on it? You know, so it's just, you know, they're trying to figure out where he got it. I don't know if they did or not yet. I don't know. But aside from all of that, there were warning signs that said this kid shouldn't even have had his hands on a knife, let alone a gun, because I'll tell you, he was dealing with something internally that he should not have been. Okay, and if they didn't know how to handle it, then they should have called for help, sent him to a psychiatrist or something like that, in order to find out what it is he's trying to deal with. It could have been signs of schizophrenia, you know, or it could have been treated with medication. You know, who knows? You know, a lot of things today that people think are hopeless, they don't realize there is a treatment for, and if they don't ask about it, they're never going to know. And some people have this you know, what do you call it? This presupposed, you know, perception that, you know, psychiatry is all, you know, voodoo shit and stuff like that, you know, and like my father felt about that. And they don't want to be anywhere near around it. You know, what it really is, it boils down to is fear of actually talking about themselves. They don't want to do it. It's to a stranger. They just don't want to do it, okay? That's, people like to keep things to themselves bottled up. But, you know, when you're bottled up and you keep things to yourself, what happens is you end up getting into trouble bigger than you can even deal with on the outside. You know, it's just... So it's not a smart thing to do. I mean, you have to be able to admit to a doctor what your problem is specifically and what's going on. Otherwise, they can't help you. If you're not going to tell them the truth, don't even waste your time, because it's expensive to go see a therapist. But if you aren't going to tell them and be open right off the bat, then don't bother. But if it's really important that you get help, then take that opportunity to be 100% forthcoming and letting them know what the issue is, okay? They're not going to judge you. They're not there to judge you. And if they have to put you in a hospital for 3 to 6 months, okay, it's for your best interest, because you need focus. It's like a person has a heart attack. They have to hospitalize that person because they need focused attention to make sure they can recover. Well, a brain problem can be the same way. If you have a severe brain problem, you have to be put into a hospital where they can focus their attention on trying to help you so you don't have to stay there anymore. And sometimes it takes months to get through it, because they have to try different medications to see which works best for you, because they can't know right off the bat exactly this drug for this problem. Everybody's different. Everybody's body chemistry is different, because this drug might give you side effects you don't like. This one might give you side effects you don't like, but this one might be the one you're looking for, okay? And then after they find the right medicine, then they're gonna find the right dosage. How much of that can they give you to keep you, between losing your mind and not, okay? Because you still got to be able to function in society. So they don't want to give you too much of something that might flip you the other way. So it's a very delicate procedure. You got to understand that, okay? But a lot of people, they don't want to hear it. They just don't want to hear it because they don't want to talk to a doctor. Okay, let's go to a commercial here. We'll be right back.
Dear CEO, what's it gonna take for you to do something? Yeah, do you even care?
Climate change affects all of us.
This is your chance to do something good.
So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes. So what are we going to do here, folks? I only need 11,000 votes. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break.
This is the best opportunity to prosecute Trump. The best chance to actually prosecute Trump is and has always been the Georgia case. In the Georgia case, there is a 1 hour plus tape of Trump breaking federal and state laws.
He's on tape.
And it's him directly.
He broke the law.
Not people on his behalf. Trump is on that tape breaking federal and state laws.
We can't let him get away with this.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Write for Pollution Booklet, Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
The Republican Party would like to welcome your children to school.
Additional gun control legislation or executive actions are not appropriate. They're not going to pass.
It doesn't matter what comes, fresh goes better in life. With Mentos fresh and full of life. Nothing gets to you, staying fresh, staying cool. With Mentos fresh and full of life. Fresh goes better, Mentos fresh day. Fresh goes better with Mentos fresh and full of life.
Mentos, the fresh maker.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it. It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. So, like I was saying before, treating people with mental issues is a tricky thing, okay? And not tricky like it's super dangerous, because if it doesn't go right, at least you're in a safe place where they can, help you out. But what it is that, it's like trying to give somebody a blood transfusion. You don't want to give them the wrong type of blood, right? Or if you want to do an organ transplant, you want to make sure the organ is going to be compatible with the person. The brain is the same way. It's a very finicky thing, and chemicals can affect it. Even just a moderate amount of chemicals can affect it. And that's why people should always be careful not to drink too much, because they don't realize how alcohol can really alter a person's personality. Okay, they think it's just fun and games, but it isn't. Okay, people often take for granted that they can handle the alcohol, but in reality, anybody who drinks any amount of alcohol, I don't care if you're a professional drinker, it's going to affect you, and you don't even realize it, because you've been doing it so often that you don't realize the change. But it does affect. It does have effect on anybody that drinks alcohol. Okay, so that's why people should really smarten up when it comes to that, drinking that stuff, because it's really, and too much of it will not hurt just your brain, but it hurts your organs, your liver, and Jesus Christ, you're just compounding problem on top of problem. So it ain't a very smart thing to do. And of course, when I'm on medication, I can't have alcohol. I mean, I'm already on something that's already altering, my brain functions, my personality, to keep it in check. So if I throw alcohol on top of that, forget it. Okay, I just ruin the whole damn thing. Might as well not even take the medication, because that's just going to throw everything out of whack. So I stay right the hell away from it. And I don't care anyway, because when I tried alcohol when I was in the service, I didn't like it. It tastes like shit, so I never went back to it anyway. So I ain't missing nothing. But on the other part of this thing, like I said, the Republicans, so steadfast in their defense of their interpretation of the Second Amendment. It makes you wonder, when they see everything happening around them, as it is. And these shootings happen more often now than they used to. And they see this, the argument keeps coming up, and they keep finding new ways to minimize it, okay? It's never just one thing in their mind that causes this. There's all kinds of things. I mean, if you go back and look at newsreels of previous shootings, you're going to see them dancing all over the place, trying to find something that they figure will stick to the wall that people will buy. But they throw everything at it. They blame it on games, TV, music, lack of going to church, food, drugs. I mean, they throw a buckshot of things out there that are responsible for the shooting, but they never ever you'll never hear them say that the gun, if there was no gun in the situation, nobody would have died. The simplest answer. Okay, they won't say that. And that's because a lot of these people that you see on the Fox News or one of these other news outfits, they're probably getting money from the NRA. And the Republican politicians are getting money from the NRA. They're getting support, big support from companies like that and the gun manufacturers. So naturally, they're not going to want to bite the hand that feeds them, right? I mean, why would they do that? So they have to come up with a narrative that they feel people will buy. And like I said, I can tell you any lie I want and 100 people will believe me. So they know, with that in mind, that if they throw out anything other than the gun, there's a good chance a lot of people will buy that excuse, okay? And they'll take it and run with it. Even if they have to pay somebody to put out a fake what do they call it, a fake research thing, and then post it online or something, then they'll turn around and use that and say, well, this individual here did a study on it and said that this was the cause. These people are bought and paid for by the right wing. These fake researchers here, and there's a lot of them out there that do this, okay? And once it's out there, and people see, oh, he got this information from Dr. So-and-so, who's actually a Republican, supporter, but people will read that and think this is from a legitimate source. They won't bother to fact check the guy's background to find out where he's from or, what he did before, all right? They won't do that, even though the answer to their question is right there at their fingertips, their phone, connected to the internet. All they got to do is Google the fucker's name, and probably they'll get all the history of this guy, and they'll find out that he's not the genuine article here. But yet they'll sit there and hear research from actual, communities that do research and things and have no axe to grind politically. Okay, because they don't side one way or the other. And they'll sit there and shit on that one. It's like, well, how come you'll take this guy's word and shit on that one? Because you heard this guy first? If you'd have heard this person first, would you have said yes to that and then shit on the other one? I think a lot of people, like I said, are not that bright. They're not too bright, especially on the right wing. They're not the kinds of people that you would trust to come to your face with logic or intelligence. It's not going to happen. I'm not saying that they're all stupid, but I'm just saying that the base followers of that party these days can't all be that smart, all right? Because a lot of them seem to believe in some of the wackiest things. And when you question these people about, well, you see these little clips I put on here on our commercial breaks where people are asked about, critical race theory or something else, and they can't answer all the questions. They start, tripping on themselves, and they don't know where to go, and then they just refuse to talk anymore. It's because they don't know what they're talking about. It's because they've been told how to answer these questions, and they can't go any further. When somebody confronts them with actual details and facts, they're like, what am I going to say? They don't know what to say because they can't go that far in their argument. If they really truly believed in what they were talking about, then they could defend their stance, till hell freezes over, but they can't. They just can't. And it's because they're not really followers of politics. They just get their information from one source on television, and it's a source that really isn't interested in giving you the truth. They want to tell you their version of what's going on, and only that. Okay, from people that aren't really journalists, they're just commentators, and that's what they are. So when you have 30% or more of the country getting their source from their information from that, you end up dumbing down the country to the point where they fall for anything. And that's why this gun issue is always going to be a thorn in this country's side, because too many of us are believing the propaganda and lies that the right wing is putting out, and the rest of us can never, ever be able to explain to them how wrong their position is. We can't. It's gone too long. 30 years or more of people being bullshitted this way. Okay? The immediate thought that comes to mind is when Michael Moore was talking to Charlton Heston, and he asked him about, having that NRA rally right after Columbine. Was that a smart thing to do? And, and you could see Heston doesn't know really how to come back with that. And he eventually just got up and left. He didn't want to talk about it anymore. And that's what I'm talking about. When a person doesn't really believe in what they say they believe in, they can't defend all the way. They can't come to a satisfactory answer that says or gives you reason to think, maybe I should rethink my. They can't come up with anything. All they got is just bumper sticker comebacks and, and what do they call stick figure arguments? Okay, everything's paper thin. They don't have a goddamn anything realistic or substantial to offer to back up what they claim they stand for, and none of these people ever do. All right, it's one thing to go around, with a NRA membered bumper sticker on your vehicle, but it's a whole other thing to be able to defend to your dying breath, okay, with fact, why you are an NRA member with a bumper sticker, okay? Because if you can't do that, you're not really a member of anything. You're just going around bragging about, oh, I love guns, And that's what the NRA means to these people, is if I'm a member, then that means I love guns, okay? They don't care what it originally was founded for, the NRA. They won't bother to look at that, okay? Because if they knew, then they would realize the NRA has changed over the decades and has become this wholly politicized organization that's bent on maintaining the sale of weapons that they pocket the money from. Okay, they get all that. I mean, they work for the gun manufacturers. And like I said in the last video, they shouldn't have to worry about the sale of their guns, because all over the world there are places where there's war all the time. And if they can't sell their guns here, then they can sell them somewhere else, okay? Really, the only customer that gun manufacturers should really have in America is the military, okay? And if that's not enough for them, I don't know what the hell they're doing, or why they got so many of these things coming off assembly lines. We got more guns out there than we have gallons of gas, you know, to put in people's cars. So I think that there's a lot to, you know, to be said there, that, you know, we're overarmed. I mean, we got people that are armed to the teeth with guns, and there just isn't a reason for us to be armed unless you're preparing to do something wrong with the gun. And I think a lot of people, when it comes to owning a gun, they have the wrong thing in mind for why they need it. All right. Some of it's just paranoid schizophrenia, and I think that's, you know, some of it, you know, basically. My father was paranoid schizophrenic, and he had an Egyptian sniper rifle in his house. Now, I know a lot of you probably don't even know what the hell that is, but it's a sniper rifle that you do use out in the desert, okay? Where, you know what I'm saying? It's made for extremely long distances, okay? It's got a very long barrel, and it uses a very big bullet. And using that in the main woods is a dumb thing to have, because, as you know, trees are going to be in the way everywhere. So having an Egyptian sniper rifle is only good if you're out in the wide open space. And that's why it was made for the desert, because in the desert you got miles and miles of just dirt, okay, and no trees, and there's very little that's going to interfere with the trajectory of that bullet. But he went and got that from some guy up in where the hell was it? Not Millinocket, but it was some guy he knew that was a veteran that had a makeshift store in his yard. It was sort of like a shed that he had all tons of guns in. He took me there for one time, and that place was full of friggin' guns that I didn't think anybody could have, you know, military style weapons in his shed. And he had that rifle, and my father wanted it, so he bought it. This was totally under the table, mind you. This was not a legal sale that, you know, that you would have to background check. But at the time, there were no background checks. But he went and got that, and he went hunting with it. Well, he never shot any deer with it. He just went out there and, you know, he would target shoot with it. But he let me shoot it once, okay? And it's almost impossible to miss anything at just 500 yards. Okay, because the thing is made for the bullet to go straight and long, okay? And the problem with that gun is it's very heavy. And even as heavy as it is, they say the heavier the gun, the less kick it has. It didn't matter with this thing. It was a very heavy gun, and it kicked like a son of a bitch, because my arm right here was all black and blue after having shot just 1 or 2 rounds out of that thing. That's how hard it kicked, okay? And I had it tight against my shoulder when I was target shooting with it. And the thing was loud. My ears rang after that thing went off. It was a loud friggin' gun. You could hear that miles away, that thing going off. And so that's what my father went and got for a hunting thing. Now, everybody around here would never use anything like that for hunting. It would be like a 30-30 or you know, or 22 bolt action or something like that, because the deer's always going to be closer than 500 yards if you're gonna shoot it, okay? This thing here would have took the head off in an instant, like shooting a watermelon, you know, with the bullet he had. It was extreme overkill. But he didn't have it for more than a couple years, and then he sold it to somebody on Indian Island. But the thing is that weapons like that, they don't need to be out in the hands of the public, okay? Because those are things that are designed for a whole different environment. AR-15, AK-47, all those things are not supposed to be used in civilian hands, okay? Because if hunting is the only thing you're really using the stuff for, then the better hunting weapon would be something less than that, okay? Any good hunter will tell you don't want to carry something that's going to destroy what you're trying to hunt. You want, you know, because people like trophies, right? They like to have a trophy of what their kills are, or they're hunting because they want the food. Like a lot of people around here like to hunt moose because moose meat is good. You know, it's, you know, really lean and healthy. And I've tried it, and it is good meat. Okay, but anyway, those are really the only reasons. And so, in that respect, you don't want to get a cannon to kill an animal. Jesus, I mean, some people actually hunt with bow and arrow and can do just as much good with that as they can with a rifle. In fact, it takes more skill, I think, to hunt with a bow and arrow, because if you're a person who likes the challenge, the challenge of hunting, then you're not going to want to make it an easy thing to do. You don't want to take down a minigun and mow down the forest to take out an animal, okay? You want to have something that's going to give you a challenge. And a lot of professional hunters love the challenge, okay? They don't want to go after something that they know in one shot, the game's over. I mean, what fun is there in that? It's like playing chess with all queens and never, okay? There's no fun in that. Okay, you want to have the possibility that you're not going to get what you're looking at, okay? So that's what a hunter is. Other hunters, I mean, they're not really hunting. They're just out there bragging in front of everybody else. Look what I got for a gun. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. And it's ridiculous that we have a society like that where, it's all about what they're carrying, okay? That's why there's other people that say, well, that's like, cock envy or something like that, men, comparing sizes. But there's a lot of truth in that, because there's a lot of people that think that way. Some people, you go into their house and they got like 30 guns in their friggin' closet or some damn thing like that. That's all about friggin' bragging, okay? They'll never in their life are they going to need that. They only got 2 arms. How the hell are they going to use 30 guns? It's silly. It really is. It's silly. So we don't really need to have that kind of weapon sales in this country, and the NRA should not be backing this perpetuation of a problem here, because what's happened is with so many of these kind of weapons out there, people are getting their hands on them that shouldn't have them. All right. And like I said before, when they had the assault weapons ban, okay, way back, I think it was the 90s or something, when they had the assault weapons ban, the gun crime rate dropped drastically. All right, the Republicans will never admit that, but it went down considerably. And when it expired under Bush Jr., after, was it 10 years they had that? Okay, after that, and Bush was president, and it expired after 10 years, the gun crime rate went up in triple numbers. I mean, it was that drastic a change. So we know that did work. It did help considerably. And you didn't see people really bitching too much about not being able to get access to these weapons, okay? And I can't imagine why the Republicans would try to ignore facts like that, because they're going to have to answer for it, because people are going to pick that up and say, look, here's some evidence right here, ding, 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 that says that what we're talking about will work. So why do they try to hide from that? Okay, doesn't that make it seem like their whole stance is not genuine, because they won't look at all the facts? All right, don't the people, the base, realize they're not looking at all the facts when they won't answer these kind of questions? Okay, because clearly there is evidence to show that there is a solution here to this problem that can mean something in the long run, okay? But because they're so tied and they're so in bed with the damn weapons manufacturers that they won't do it. They just won't do it. They can't do it. They don't want to give any doubt at all to their base that their position could be wrong, you know, whatever that position may be from one given time to the next. I mean, the next shooting we have, they'll blame it on something else. To this right now, it's drugs. Next one could be food. The next one after that could be, oh, the air is not good, or the water's bad, or you know what I'm saying? They'll come up with all kinds of things. They'll jump around, and nobody's keeping track on the Republican Party as to how many excuses they're hearing. They're only going to remember the one at the moment that they're getting fed. That's the other thing. The rest of us remember, hey, this isn't what you said last time, or the one time before that, you know? So, you know, what are you going to do? So anyway, that's all for today. I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. So please comment and subscribe. And I'd like to hear from you about a lot of different things. And I hope everybody has a great rest of the week and summer. And enjoy the time. Be safe out there. I know it seems like danger everywhere, but you do like what I'm doing here. You know, try to find some places where there aren't many people around, and you might be safer. Unless you got a stalker or a serial killer around. So anyway, just take care out there, and hope to see you again soon. So